Queen Xaelera sat alone on her crystal throne. The great hall of the Calraxian palace was empty except for two guards who stood far away at the doors. They did not want to be near her. No one did. Xaelera looked down at her slender hands. They were too small, too delicate for a Calraxian royal. Her people valued strength and size. Warriors, all of them, with thick gray skin and powerful muscles. But Xaelera was different. Taller, thinner, with skin that shimmered with a blue tint. A mutation, the doctor said. Not a true Calraxian, the people whispered. Your Majesty. The voice of Chief Advisor Mox broke her thoughts. The council demands your presence. Again. Xaelera nodded and stood up. Her long silver robe touched the floor as she walked. What do they want this time? Mox. They wish to discuss your marriage situation, Your Majesty. Xaelera felt her heart sink. The law was clear. She had to marry by the end of this cycle, or she would lose her throne. But no Calraxian nobleman wanted her. They saw her as weak, unworthy. Very well, she said. I will face them. In the council chamber, 12 Calraxian generals sat around a large stone table. General Vexthor, the largest of them all, stood as she entered. Queen Xaelera, he said, not bothering to bow. Another cycle passes, and still you have no mate. Our laws are ancient and clear. If you do not marry, the throne will pass to the next bloodline. His bloodline, Xaelera knew. Vexthor wanted to be king more than anything. I am aware of our laws, General, she said calmly. I still have time. Time that our empire cannot waste. Vexthor hit the table with his fist. While you dream of peace, our enemies grow stronger. The Draxians expand their territory. The Melorans build new warships. And now we hear that humans have joined the Galactic Confederation. Xaelera raised an eyebrow. Humans? From Earth? Yes, said another general. Weak creatures, soft skin, no natural armor. They will not last long in space. Xaelera was not so sure. She had studied reports about Earth. Humans were adaptable, creative, different from other species. The Confederation has assigned a human ambassador to us, Vexthor said. He arrives tomorrow. A waste of our time. I will welcome him, Xaelera said. You will do as the council decides. Vexthor growled. Xaelera straightened her back. She might look different, but royal blood ran in her veins. I am still queen, General. I will meet the human ambassador. The next day, Xaelera watched from her palace balcony as a small Earth ship landed in the royal docking bay. It was nothing like the massive Calraxian warships, sleek and silver instead of bulky and armored. A single human male walked down the ramp. He wore a blue uniform with gold markings on the shoulders. He was shorter than any adult Calraxian, with pale skin and short brown hair. Commander Alan Wright of Earth, announced the royal herald, ambassador to the Calraxian Empire. Alan looked up at the palace of crystal spires and massive stone walls. Then his eyes met Xaelera's. He did not look away in disgust, as Calraxians did. Instead, he smiled and bowed deeply. Something fluttered in Xaelera's chest. This human showed respect without fear. How strange. Welcome to Calrax, Commander Wright, she said, using the palace speakers so he could hear her. I am Queen Xaelera. The honor is mine, Your Majesty, Alan replied. I bring greetings and hopes for friendship from Earth. Behind her, Xaelera heard General Vexthor snort with derision. Friendship, the general muttered. Weakness. But as Xaelera looked at the human ambassador, she wondered if there might be strength in friendship after all. Strength she desperately needed. Alan Wright walked through the massive doors of the Calraxian palace. 4 guards, each twice his size, watched his every move. Their gray skin looked like stone, and their yellow eyes showed no warmth. This way, human, said an official named Zorn. The queen will see you in the small throne room. Alan followed, taking in the strange beauty of the palace. Crystal walls caught the light of 3 suns through tall windows. The floor was made of a blue metal that hummed softly under his feet. In the small throne room, Queen Xalara sat waiting. Up close, Alan could see why she was different from other Coraxians. Where they were bulky with thick gray skin, she was tall and slender. Her skin had a blue shine to it, and her eyes were larger, a deep purple color. "Commander Wright," she said. Her voice was gentler than other Coraxians. "I hope your quarters are comfortable." "Very, Your Majesty," Alan bowed. "Thank you for your hospitality." A large Coraxian in military uniform made a harsh sound. "Enough pleasantries. Human, state your business." "General Vexthor," Queen Xalara said sharply. "The ambassador deserves respect." Alan nodded to the general, then turned to Xalara. "Earth wishes to establish friendly relations with all members of the Galactic Confederation. We are new to space travel beyond our system, but eager to learn and trade." "Trade?" General Vexthor laughed. "What could humans possibly offer the Coraxian Empire?" "Medical advances, for one," Alan said calmly. "Our scientists have developed treatments for diseases that affect many species. Coraxians do not get sick," Vexthor said. "Yet your birth rates have dropped by 30% in the last decade," Alan replied. "Our research suggests we might help with that." The room went silent. Alan knew he had touched on a sensitive topic, but Earth intelligence had been clear. Coraxians were facing a population crisis they refused to admit. Queen Xalara leaned forward. "You are well informed, Commander Wright." Before Alan could answer, a loud explosion shook the palace. Alarms blared throughout the crystal halls. "We are under attack," a guard shouted from the doorway. General Vexthor grabbed a weapon from his belt. "Protect the palace." He ran out with most of the guards. A second explosion, closer now, sent cracks through one wall. Alan rushed to Queen Xalara. "Your Majesty, we need to get you to safety." "There is a secure room below the palace," she said, standing quickly. As they hurried toward a hidden door behind the throne, 3 armed Coraxians in black armor burst into the room. Their weapons were aimed at the queen. "Death to the false queen," one shouted. Without hesitation, Alan pushed Xalara behind a pillar as energy blasts hit where she had been standing. He grabbed a decorative spear from the wall and threw it with perfect aim, hitting one attacker in the shoulder. "This way." Xalara pulled him toward the hidden door, which slid open at her touch. They ran down a narrow stairway as more explosions rocked the palace above them. The passage led deep under the palace, lit only by strips of glowing blue crystal. "What's happening?" Alan asked as they ran. "Who's attacking?" "I suspect General Vexthor," Xalara said, her breathing quick. "He wants my throne. He has waited for an opportunity like this." They reached a small room with thick metal walls. Xalara placed her hand on a scanner, and the door sealed behind them. "We should be safe here," she said, "but not for long if Vexthor has truly made his move." Alan looked at the queen. Despite the danger, she remained calm. Why would he attack now? Xalara sat down on a simple chair. "Because time runs out for me. By our laws, I must marry before the end of this cycle, or lose my right to rule." She looked at Alan with her strange purple eyes. "And no Coraxian nobleman will have me." Alan suddenly understood the politics at play. "And Vexthor is next in line for the throne." "Yes," Xalara said. "He would lead our people to war across the galaxy." She looked at the human with new interest. "You risk your life to save mine. No Coraxian except my royal guards would have done that." "On Earth, we try to protect those in danger," Alan said simply. "It's what humans do." For the first time, Queen Xalara smiled. 3 days had passed since the attack on the palace. Queen Xalara and Alan sat in a small control room inside a hidden outpost on Calrax's smallest moon. The outpost, built into the rocky surface, was known only to Calraxian royalty. "Any news from the palace?" Alan asked, watching Sailora check the communication screen. "Not good news," she said. "General Vexthor has told the people that I am dead. He claims the humans attacked me." Alan shook his head. "That's ridiculous. Earth has no reason to harm the Calraxian Empire. Vexthor does not need reasons. He needs excuses." Sailora's voice was tired. "He is gathering support to become the new king." Alan studied the queen. Even worried and tired, she had a grace that other Calraxians lacked. "Why do your people reject you so much?" he asked softly. Sailora looked at her hands. "I was born different. Calraxians believe strength is everything. I am not strong in the way they value." "Physical strength isn't everything," Alan said. "On Earth, we learned that different kinds of strength matter. Intelligence, compassion, wisdom. These are strengths too." Sailora looked curious. "Tell me more about Earth." For hours they talked. Alan told her about Earth's many cultures, how humans had fought wars but also built peace. He explained how Earth governments worked, with people having a voice in decisions. "Your people choose their leaders?" Sailora asked, amazed. "Even common people?" "Yes. We believe everyone should have a say in how they are governed." "That would never work here," she said. "Calraxians follow strength. It is in our blood memory." "Blood memory?" Alan asked. Sailora explained how Calraxians carried memories from their ancestors in their DNA. "We are born knowing our history, our traditions. It connects us to our past." "Is that why change is so hard for your people?" "Yes. We remember the old ways as if we lived them." She touched her chest. "But my blood memory is weaker. Another reason I am seen as unfit to rule." Alan thought about this. Maybe that's not a weakness. Maybe it lets you see new possibilities that others can't. A loud alarm suddenly blared through the outpost. Sailora rushed to the control panel. Someone has landed on the moon. 3 ships. Alan joined her at the screen. "Vexthor. Bounty hunters," she said, her voice tight. "He must have offered a reward for my capture." "We need to defend this position," Alan said, looking around. "What weapons do we have?" Sailora pointed to a wall panel that slid open to reveal Calraxian weapons. "These are powerful, but there are at least 12 hunters out there." Alan examined the weapons quickly. "On Earth, we learn to use our surroundings. This moon has low gravity, right?" "Yes, about 1/3 of Calrax. That gives us an advantage. They'll be expecting normal movement, but we can use the low gravity to surprise them." Sailora looked doubtful. "I am not a warrior." "You don't need to be," Alan said. "You just need to be smart. Follow my lead." When the bounty hunters broke through the outer door, they found an empty control room. As they moved inside, confused, Alan sprang from his hiding place above the door. In the low gravity, he sailed across the room, firing the Calraxian weapon with surprising accuracy. 2 hunters fell before the others knew what was happening. From another hiding spot, Sailora fired her weapon, hitting a 3rd hunter. The battle was quick but intense. Alan used Earth military tactics, having Sailora lay down covering fire while he moved to new positions, confusing the hunters who fought in traditional Calraxian style, direct and forceful. When it was over, the hunters were either unconscious or had retreated. "How did you do that?" Sailora asked, breathing hard. "You are half their size." "I didn't try to overpower them," Alan said. "I outthought them. Humans had to learn to adapt because we aren't the strongest creatures, even on our own planet." Sailora looked at the human with new understanding. Perhaps there is more than one kind of strength after all. For the first time, she reached out and touched his hand. Her skin was cool against his. "Perhaps," she said softly, "Calrax could learn from Earth." A week passed in the moon outpost. Alan and Sailora spent their days planning how to take back the palace. They also spent hours talking about their worlds, their hopes, and their fears. One evening, as they watched Calrax rise over the moon's horizon. Alan looked at Saelara with new eyes. He had come to admire her wisdom, her gentle strength, and her desire for peace. "We need to contact people you trust," Alan said. "Are there Calraxians who would still support you?" Saelara nodded. "Some of the younger nobles. They are tired of endless war. And my royal guard commander, Krell, if he still lives." Alan thought for a moment. "If we can gather enough support, we might be able to challenge Vexthor. But there's still the problem of your marriage deadline." "Yes," Saelara said sadly. "Even if I return, I must marry soon or lose the throne by law." Alan paced the small room. Suddenly, he stopped. A wild idea had entered his mind. It was crazy, impossible, and yet, "What if you did marry?" he asked quietly. Saelara looked at him with confusion. "No Calraxian nobleman would have me." "I wasn't thinking of a Calraxian." Alan took a deep breath. "What if you married me?" Saelara's purple eyes widened. "You, a human?" She stood up, shocked. "That has never happened before. No Calraxian royal has ever married outside our species." "Maybe it's time for something new," Alan said. "Think about it. An alliance between Earth and the Calraxian Empire. Real peace instead of more war." "The Council would never accept it," Saelara said, but Alan could see she was considering it. "Would the law accept it? Does it say you must marry a Calraxian?" Saelara thought carefully. "The ancient law says I must find a mate of worthy blood. It does not specifically say Calraxian blood." She looked at Alan with new interest. "But the Council would demand you prove your worth." "Then I'll prove it," Alan said firmly. "If this can bring peace and save your throne, I'm willing to try." Saelara touched his face gently. "You would do this? Marry an alien queen you barely know?" "I know enough," Alan said. "I know you want peace. I know you care for your people, even when they reject you. I know you're the leader the Calraxian Empire needs." That night, they sent a secret message to Commander Krell. 3 days later, Krell arrived at the moon outpost with 10 loyal guards. "My queen," Krell bowed deeply. "I never believed you were dead." "Thank you, Krell," Saelara said. "What news from the palace?" "Vexthor prepares for his coronation," Krell said. "But many are unhappy with his rule already. He has executed 3 nobles who questioned him." Alan stepped forward. "Commander Krell, we have a plan, but it will shock many Calraxians." Krell looked at the human with suspicion. "What plan?" Saelara stood tall and proud. "I will return and claim my throne, and I will take Commander Alan Wright as my royal husband." Krell's yellow eyes blinked rapidly. "The human? Impossible. Is it written in our laws that I cannot?" Saelara challenged. Krell thought for a moment. "No, but tradition." "Tradition has not served our people well," Saelara said. "War after war has weakened us. Our numbers fall. Perhaps it is time for new blood." Krell looked at Alan with new interest. "He helped you defeat the bounty hunters." "He did, with human tactics, not brute strength." Krell was silent for a long time. Finally, he bowed again. "If he passes the 3 trials of worthiness, the law would have to accept him." "The 3 trials?" Alan asked. Saelara looked worried. "The trial of mind, the trial of spirit, and the trial of body. No alien has ever taken them." "Will you try, human?" Krell asked. "They are designed to test a Calraxian warrior. They could kill you." Alan looked at Saelara, then back at Krell. "I'll do it, for peace between our worlds, for a new beginning." Saelara took his hand in hers. "If you succeed, you will change history. And if I fail, then we both lose everything," she said softly. Word spread quickly through the capital city. Queen Saelara was alive and had returned. Even more shocking, she planned to marry a human. Crowds gathered outside the palace, curious and confused. Inside, in the ancient Hall of Trials, Alan prepared for his first test. Sailora stood with him, worry clear on her face. "The trial of mind is first," she explained. "No one knows what you will face until it begins." "I'm ready," Alan said, though his heart beat fast. General Vexthor stormed into the hall, his face dark with anger. "This is an outrage. A human cannot take the sacred trials." "The law does not forbid it," said Elder Zorix, the oldest member of the council. "If Queen Sailora chooses him, he may try." Vexthor glared at Alan. "Then he will die trying." Alan was led to the center of the hall. A circle of blue light surrounded him. 5 Calraxian elders sat in high chairs around him. "Begin the trial of mind," Elder Zorix announced. The floor opened beneath Alan. A glowing crystal cube rose up, complex patterns shifting across its surface. "This is the puzzle of ages," Elder Zorix explained. "It has defeated our greatest scholars for generations. You have 1 hour to solve it." Alan examined the cube carefully. The pattern seemed random at first, but as he watched, he noticed sequences, relationships between the shifting symbols. "This is a language," he realized aloud. "Not random patterns, but a story." The elders looked surprised. For centuries, Calraxians had tried to solve the puzzle with mathematics. No one had considered it might be telling a story. Alan traced the patterns, following them as they flowed around the cube. "It's the story of Calrax, told in an ancient form." With 20 minutes remaining, Alan rearranged the patterns, completing the story. The cube glowed brightly, then settled into a perfect, harmonious pattern. "Impossible," whispered Elder Zorix. "The human has solved it." Sailora smiled proudly as Alan stepped away from the cube. "The trial of spirit comes next," she told him. "It tests your heart, not your mind." Alan was taken to the palace gardens. A young Calraxian child sat crying beside a small pool. "What's wrong?" Alan asked, approaching carefully. The child looked up fearfully. "My treasured stone fell in the water, but the water burns like fire. No one will help me." Alan looked at the pool. The liquid inside bubbled and steamed. He knew this was part of the trial. But the child's distress seemed real. Without hesitation, Alan removed his jacket and wrapped it around his hand. He reached into the burning liquid, feeling intense pain even through the protection. His fingers found the small stone, and he pulled it out, his hand blistering from the heat. "Here," he said, giving the stone to the child. The child smiled, then transformed into a spirit of light. "You have passed the trial of spirit," the light said. "You placed another's need above your own safety." Alan's hand was healed as the spirit touched it. The final trial was the most feared, the trial of body. Alan stood in the combat ring, facing General Vexthor himself. "I will enjoy this, human," Vexthor growled, lifting his battle axe. Alan held only a short sword. He knew he could not match the Calraxian's strength. "Begin," shouted Elder Zorix. Vexthor charged, swinging his axe with terrifying force. Alan didn't try to block it. Instead, he rolled aside, using the Calraxian's momentum against him. "Fight properly," Vexthor roared. "I am fighting properly," Alan replied. "Human properly." Again and again, Vexthor attacked with brute strength. Each time, Alan evaded, conserving his energy while the general grew tired and angry. When Vexthor charged one final time, Alan dropped to the ground, causing the general to stumble over him. As Vexthor fell, Alan placed his sword at the general's throat. "Yield," Alan said quietly. The hall went silent. No one had ever defeated Vexthor in combat. "The human has passed all 3 trials," Elder Zorix announced. "By our ancient laws, he may marry the queen." Sailora rushed to Alan's side, her eyes shining. "You did it." "We did it," Alan corrected. "This is just the beginning." The great day arrived. The crystal palace shone with light from all 3 sons of Calrax. Delegates from 20 planets gathered for the historic wedding. Never before had a human married into Calraxian royalty. In her dressing chamber, Queen Xelura wore the traditional silver wedding robe of her people, but she had added touches of blue, Earth's color, Alan had told her. "You look beautiful, Your Majesty," said Mina, a young Calraxian handmaiden who had always been loyal. "I am nervous," Xelura admitted. "What if my people never accept this union?" "Many already do," Mina said. "After the human passed the 3 trials, even some who doubted have changed their minds." In another room, Alan prepared with help from 2 human friends who had arrived from Earth. Captain Sam Foster adjusted Alan's uniform, a blend of Earth diplomatic dress and Calraxian royal symbols. "I still can't believe you're marrying an alien queen," Sam said, shaking his head. "She's more than just an alien queen," Alan replied. "She's brilliant, kind, and wants peace just like we do." His sister Karen Wright handed him a small box. "Mom wanted you to have this. Dad gave it to her on their wedding day." Inside was a simple gold ring with a small diamond. "It's perfect," Alan said. "I'll give it to Xelura as an Earth tradition." The great hall filled with guests. Calraxian nobles stood tall and stiff on one side. Earth delegates and representatives from other planets gathered on the other side. In the center, Elder Orcs waited to perform the ceremony. Alan entered first, walking slowly to the ceremonial circle. Then, the doors opened, and Queen Xelura appeared. A hush fell over the crowd. Even those who opposed the marriage could not deny her regal beauty. As Xelura reached the circle, she and Alan joined hands. Elder Orcs began the ancient words of union. "Today, 2 become one. 2 worlds bridge their differences. 2 hearts join in royal bond." Helen and Xelura repeated vows in both Earth English and the Calraxian language. When the time came, Alan surprised everyone by offering the gold ring. "On Earth, we exchange rings as a symbol of endless love," he explained. "With this ring, I bring my world's tradition to yours." Xelura's eyes shimmered with emotion as she accepted the ring. Suddenly, a loud crash interrupted the ceremony. The great doors burst open. General Vexthor stood there with 20 armed soldiers. "This marriage will not happen," he shouted. "I challenge the human one final time." The crowd gasped. Elder Orcs stepped forward. "The trials are complete, General. You cannot challenge again." "I do not recognize this ceremony." Vexthor raised his weapon. "The throne belongs to true Calraxians, not alien lovers." His soldiers spread through the hall, weapons ready. Guests backed away in fear. Alan stood protectively in front of Xelura. "We've come too far to stop now, General." "Then you will die here," Vexthor growled. What happened next surprised everyone. Captain Sam signaled to the Earth delegates. In perfect unison, they activated small devices on their wrists. A field of energy spread around Alan and Xelura, protecting them. At the same moment, Commander Krell and the Royal Guards emerged from hidden positions. They had anticipated Vexthor's move. "Drop your weapons," Krell ordered Vexthor's soldiers. Seeing they were outnumbered and outplanned, most of the soldiers surrendered. Only Vexthor continued to fight, charging toward Alan and Xelura with rage in his eyes. Alan didn't hesitate. He stepped through the energy field, meeting Vexthor with a swift move he had practiced since the trial of body. Using the general's momentum, Alan flipped the much larger Calraxian onto his back. Guards quickly surrounded Vexthor, taking his weapons. "The wedding will continue," Elder Orcs announced firmly. The ceremony resumed. When the final words were spoken, Alan and Xelura were officially married. A new era had begun for both worlds. As they faced their guests, now as husband and wife, Queen Xelura and Prince Consort Alan, the hall filled with cheers, from humans and Calraxians alike. 6 months had passed since the royal wedding. The Crystal Palace no longer felt cold and empty. Queen Xelura and Prince Consort Alan had brought new life to the ancient halls. Together, they sat in the newly created council chamber. Instead of only generals and elders, the council now included younger Caraxians, scientists, and even 2 human advisors. They discussed trade agreements with Earth and 4 other worlds. The shipments of Earth medicines have reduced illness in the outer colonies by 40%, reported Tora, a young female Caraxian scientist. And Caraxian crystal technology has improved Earth's communication systems, added Dr. Peter Hall, one of the human advisors. Alan smiled at Sailora. Their plan was working. The alliance between their worlds grew stronger every day. After the meeting, they walked in the palace gardens. Sailora's hand rested gently on Alan's arm. "Do you miss Earth?" she asked. "Sometimes," Alan admitted, "but my home is here now with you." Sailora stopped walking. "There is something I must tell you." Alan looked at her with concern. "What is it?" A smile spread across Sailora's face. "The royal doctors confirmed it this morning. I am going to have a child." Alan's eyes widened. "A baby? Is that even possible between our species?" "My unique genetics make it possible," Sailora explained. "Remember how I told you I am different from other Caraxians? It seems my body is more adaptable." Alan pulled her close, his heart filled with joy. "Our child will be the first of its kind, human and Caraxian. The first bridge between our worlds," Sailora said softly. The news of the royal pregnancy spread quickly. Most Caraxians celebrated. Some, like former General Vexthor, now imprisoned for treason, called it an abomination. But their voices grew quieter as the benefits of the Earth Alliance became clear. 3 months later, as Sailora's pregnancy progressed, an urgent message arrived from the outer colonies. Unknown ships had attacked Caraxian outposts near the Dark Nebula. In the war room, military leaders from both worlds gathered around a star map. "The attackers used technology we've never seen," Commander Krell reported. "They destroyed 2 outposts before we could respond." "Can we speak with them?" Sailora asked. "Perhaps they will negotiate." "We tried," Krell said. "They answered with weapons fire." Alan studied the attack pattern on the map. "They're targeting communication centers first. Standard Earth military strategy. Cut off calls for help before the main attack." "What do you suggest, Prince Consort?" asked Admiral Jones from Earth. "A combined fleet," Alan said. "Earth ships are faster and have better shields. Caraxian vessels have stronger weapons. Together, we might surprise them." Sailora nodded. "Make it so." 2 weeks later, the combined Earth-Caraxian fleet engaged the mysterious attackers. As Alan had suggested, Earth ships used their speed to draw enemy fire, while Caraxian warships moved into position. The strategy worked perfectly. The enemy retreated after losing half their vessels. In the palace, Sailora watched the victory celebration from a balcony, her hand resting on her growing belly. Alan joined her, putting his arm around her shoulders. "Our people fought well together," she said. "Not just fought," Alan replied. "Look at them." Below, in the great square, humans and Caraxians celebrated side by side. Some humans wore Caraxian armor pieces as honors. Some Caraxians had painted Earth symbols on their armor. "They're becoming one people," Sailora said with wonder. "Just as we have." Alan touched her face gently. "When I first came here, no one wanted you as their queen. And no one expected a human to become Caraxian royalty," she added. "Now look at us," Alan smiled. "The future will be different because we found each other." As the 3 sons of Calrax sat on the horizon, casting golden light across the crystal city, Queen Sailora and her human husband looked to the stars. Their child would inherit 2 worlds, 2 cultures, and a new path forward. The unwanted queen and the underestimated human had changed the galaxy forever.